This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Come from the 606 Media Studios. This is the TCSF podcast with Big Z, featuring the man, the myth, the legend. E-Rock is back in the house. What up, E?
Yes, sir. What's up, brother? You know, let me tell you something. Last time I was on the show, it was pre-surgery. So now I'm back. They put a new robotic part in my leg, and I'm ready to go, man. I just got to make sure when I move, you don't hear the robot sounds in the background.
Mr. Roboto. All right. So looks like JC Howard is coming on today. He'll be on a little. He has some technical difficulties, so he'll be on. But episode 191 is brought to you by 606 Media, true Chicago sports fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Go check out gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use that promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your shirts now.
Now.
Ahora mismo. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, X, hit that subscribe button, hit that favorite bell button so you can get a notification. And if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, make sure we're your favorite podcast. Make sure to give us 5 stars and leave a review. Those really help us shoot up the charts, and really appreciate everyone that is watching and listening. And remember, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go over there and click on the support button, and you can subscribe for as little as 99 cents a month. E, what's up, man? How's that hip hanging on?
Look, I'm doing good. I don't have to do that long ass intro anymore that I did for however many you know what I mean, like shows. I don't think it's funny because as you're saying it, it's just playing in my head. I'm like going along in my head, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I'm doing good. It's healing up a lot faster than the other one, just because the other one was so bad.
Yeah.
And I let it go for so long. This one was like more before I get too bad, let me take care of it. So yeah, I mean, March 11th with the surgery. So we're about, a month and 11 days. So about what, five weeks or so.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing good, man. I'm walking good. Physical therapy a couple times a week. And yeah, I mean, I sit too long. I got to shift, but I mean, that's just kind of the part of it. But yeah, I mean, that funny enough, like the actual, the incision is almost healed. It almost healed. It's just about getting strength in the leg again, and getting ready to kick some ass, and I can do karate again.
There you go. There you go. He's gonna dance against people. He's gonna dance again.
Yeah, that's my dad's joke. He was like, "Hey, make sure you ask the doctor. What after the surgery? Can I dance? Oh, of course you can. Well, I never could before." Like that was that's the old school dad joke that he tells me every damn time I talk to him.
Dude, that's amazing. Glad to hear that, man. Yeah. If you've got 2 done, I've got 1 done, and hopefully I am done with my hips. I do not do any physical activity to the fact that I can get injured. Lots of students help me, like, "Oh, you want to play basketball?" That is a no, sir. Do you want to play football? That is a no, sir. You want to play kickball? Yes, I will kick the ball and someone will run for me. I am on literally watch myself, because as we get in older in age, we're a lot more fragile. So we you got to take care of yourself. So I'm glad you're doing well. Let's bring in JC. JC finally made it to the show. What's up, JC?
What's up?
There he is.
Yeah.
How you doing, JC? You were on last week.
Yeah, I attended my niece's first home softball game rather than attend with you guys. So, not very often I'm off on a day where she has a softball game. So, I took the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'll go watch her instead.
It's all good. It's all good.
Listen,
all right. Yeah,
the more softball, the better. How I watched 5 softball games this weekend. You know how I do. So I mean, the more softball, the better, man. Support them, especially with the girls. They need that encouragement. So that's really dope.
Yeah, see, you say that, but I love my niece, but dude, they got slaughtered by inning 1. They were already down by 18. Their team is not very good. The coaching is not very good. They're doing the best they can. They're Fenwick High School. So they're kind of a group of more academic, if you will,
Mhm.
than athletic. So they're out there doing the best they can, but I was sitting there, I wasn't really impressed with the coaching they were getting either. So is what it is.
Sometimes you don't get the right coaching because no one wants to step up, man. That's just no one wants to put the work into it, man. And
Yeah.
that's an issue at the high school level where you don't have the right person in the right slot, and sometimes you get people that just do it for the money. You got to do it for the love of the game. If you're a coach, you're doing it for the love of the game because you're putting hours upon hours within practice, film, breakdowns, drills. You're doing all those things that he knows this because he does that on a weekly basis. You're putting in hours upon hours of work just to see a small increment of improvement. And for us, from the
Well, I
outsider, it
mean,
looks like a little bit. For them, it's milestones.
for me, it's more of from everything I've heard about the coach, he's pretty negative, and like I said, when you got a group of girls who they're not the most athletic, or they're getting slaughtered every game,
Yeah.
you got to find a way to make it fun, if you will, rather than putting them down. So that's my only, from what I've heard is, little bit on the negative side. So, again, but it also is, difference of age and coaching. The coach is a little older. So, when I grew up, coaches were tough on you. They expected a lot out of you. They weren't exactly nice to you when I played baseball and, sixth through eighth grade, and then, high school and whatever, not all your coaches were the nicest people, but like I said, they're going out there. And like I said, I mean, it was first inning. They were down by like 18. I think they finally finished the game at like
Jesus.
5-18. They finally put like 5 runs on in the third inning, but they also, I think, play a time limit as well. So that's kind of interesting as well.
It's not it look, it's not easy coaching, it's not easy playing, especially if you're not a group of kids that have been playing since T-ball or 6U, 8U, and you're playing because it's something athletic to do, it's something to be a part of a team, you know what I mean? Like it's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to coach in this day and age because you have to figure out how do I stay encouraging, especially when I know the team, the talent level, and the athleticism is not there. So yeah, I mean, and when you got one of them old school coaches, it's even harder for them to adapt to that thing. But
Yeah.
at the end of it, as long as she's out there having fun, that's where it really comes down to. And it's those bonds are going to be lifetime bonds. So I mean, that's really when it comes down to it, because ain't nobody getting a scholarship off of that one game or a couple of games unless you're on that track from the time that you're like 12, because my daughter in her 14U travel team, that's like they're already gunning for college, right? They're visiting colleges, they're reaching out to coaches so they get on the radar. They're already they get nationally ranked, and they go to all this stuff from then. Coaches can't talk to them until junior year, but they start already scouting out. They start following their favorite players. They make a Twitter profile if they have a great play in a game. They post it because we record all the games. It's hardcore, but my house league that we won a couple championships, them girls that don't even play together anymore, they still talk every day, and they hang out, and those are their like bonded friends because they spend so much time together. So anytime that they're able to get on the field, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's what I take out of it, and them seeing family members out there, that support, that means the world.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, unfortunately, like I said, like there's 2 or 3 like girls on this team that are really good, but like you could tell, like it's not like a travel team, or it's not like a home league team where all of a town or a village is coming together. They've played together for years. Again, when I was I went, me and the friends, we were part of the Cooperstown Little League World Series. Unfortunately, I didn't make the team because of some politics. Another coach's son made the team for playing third base instead of me, because we already had like 5 guys from the team I was on
You want to talk
going.
about it?
Yeah, let's get this out in the air. You know what?
This is therapy for him.
That's right.
Hold on. Where is it?
Pull up a couch.
Yeah, hold on.
If everybody doesn't know, Jay-Z does have his own roadcaster now, and yeah, he's able to bleep himself out. Thank God.
Square button.
Just because you're the
Yeah.
coach's son does not mean you are good enough to go to the Little League World Series. Again, it was, you know, I played for Norwich and Norwich Park. We had like 8-10 teams like in the league, and you know, unfortunately, my team, which we were the quote unquote Yankees, I mean, we were stacked. I mean, we had probably 7 kids on my team that deserved to go to, you know, Cooperstown and whatever. But like I said, unfortunately, they try to incorporate players from other teams, and you know, like I said, it's coach politics and whatever. So it is what it is. Yeah, I was definitely a better third baseman than that kid. I can tell you that.
Oh man!
All right, let's jump into Chicago.
When I play third base and the catcher is my catcher, like we already have a rapport on stolen third bases, so it's like, you know, again.
All right, well, we're gonna start a GoFundMe for JC's therapy, so he can get over him not being at the World Series. So in this live episode this week is draft week, and a speculation of the number 9 pick is what we're going to focus on, because we know that Caleb Williams is the dude at number 1, unless the Bears throw a curveball, which I highly doubt. All of that. The Cubs split against the Fish this past weekend, which was kind of disappointing. We'll talk about that. The Sox on pace to win 24 games. Yeah. All right. Enough of that. And the Bulls crapped down their leg against a Jimmyless Heat. Oh my God. What a disaster up there. And we have AK coming in and talking about he came out of his hibernation cave and to talk to the press. So let's start off with the Bulls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with this press conference, and we're going to listen to it for a couple minutes, and then we'll let E-Rock and JC break it down.
Great to see you all here. Thanks for coming. Thank you for time and dedication covering our team. I appreciate that. It goes without saying, the conclusion of the season fell short of expectations, regardless of injury status. Any season where we don't end deep into the postseason requires close examination, which has already begun. I can talk about all of our players through a positive lens, but in totality, as a team, we didn't meet expectations. We aren't here for the play-in. It's a team game, and we have to make changes to fix things. I take full responsibility for where we are right now. I know our fans aren't satisfied with where we finished the season, and neither am I. I want to thank our fans for their tireless support and energy throughout the season. We have the best fans in NBA, and we're truly grateful for all of you. In this business, you win or you learn. So while I can be happy with some growth and learning this year, I won't be satisfied until we bring championship to the city of Chicago. That's what I was hired. That's why I'm here. And my mission remains unchanged. I like what Billy has done here for the past 4 years. Billy's someone that you build a program with. He's a very good coach and even a better human being. We established a winning expectation. We defined a profile for the Bulls player, and we put emphasis on player development. It is also on me to facilitate Billy with the resources he needs to build a team that can be successful consistently. The questions I can answer today are questions about the past season. I'm planning on sitting down with the staff for exit interviews. Then I will sit down with Billy, Mark, and our front office to figure out what's next, what worked, what didn't.
All right, that's enough of this dude right now. E-Rock, go ahead.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh boy.
what does Mark Eversley look like? Because when he was brought in and AK was brought in, they were supposed to be the anti-Garpax. They were supposed to be the constructors of this amazing team, this and that. And we haven't seen squat. I don't even know what this guy looks like. And he's supposed to be the GM, right? So
Correct.
the whole Garpax thing was supposed to be gone. We were supposed to actually see and hear from this general manager who we never see. And look, if we want to be fair to the situation, Zach LaVine was out for the season. Lonzo Ball hasn't played since he was in UCLA, right? Like that's the last time he's played any basketball, right? Patrick Williams, who was their top draft pick a couple years ago, number 4 overall pick in the NBA draft, was out for the season. What that did is, and then I talked about this a ton in old shows, was that Kobe White and Zach LaVine are the same player, and it allowed Kobe White to definitely, I mean, if he does not get the most improved player of the season award, I mean, that's a highway robbery. He played his ass off this year. He had 19.1 points, 5.1 assists, 4.5 rebounds, and he played 79 games. He had a total of 1,509 points this season. Kobe White was the MVP of this team. And you got and that's it, right? When Kobe White joined this team, I really didn't have high expectations for him because he reminded me of a guard version of Joe Kim Noah with the hair and flopping around and looking like, the silly. He talks kind of silly, but man, he played his ass off when he got the opportunity. And if you look up and down that roster, they should have traded Caruso when they had a chance to actually make some, because this is basketball hell. What is the point of making the play-in tournament and going out there and beating up on the Hawks, who are in the same position as the Bulls, and then for a second consecutive year going out there and playing against the Heat and just embarrassing yourself? This was a complete and total waste of time. You wasted Kobe White's breakout season, and I don't see the difference between this administration and this front office for the Chicago Bulls than Garpax. What's the difference? Can anyone explain it to me? At least then you saw Gar and Pax. I haven't seen Mark Eversley. I'm not sure he's not an AI because I haven't seen him in forever. When's the last time anyone's seen this guy in person?
He's probably in a broom closet at the Berto Center because he's not over here at the Advocate Center. He's at the Berto Center. He's at the wrong location. And I'm going to tell you the difference. The difference is that this administration hasn't made a trade for a physical player in over 3 years.
Nope.
At least Garpax would make a trade for a supplemental player to supplement an injury. They would take a swing on a project. They would go out there and actually do stuff. They were actually present. You saw Garpax both almost on a daily basis in front of the media. This guy just came out of hibernation. I don't know from where. He barely has a Bulls sweater on during his press conference. And thanks to NBC Sports Chicago for providing that clip. I want to give them their credit. I don't know where this guy has been. And he's like, well, this isn't enough. How the Bulls fans have been telling you for 3 years, this isn't enough. Once Lonzo went down, they made no attempt to fix the problem. No attempt. They drafted Dalen Terry, not an NBA player. You saw what the kid from the Heat did. He literally took the Bulls to school. Same exact draft. If you cannot draft correctly, when you have a major star go down, you're going to struggle just like the Bulls did because they had 5 players on their team. 5. There's no one off the bench coming off because everyone was hurt. Lonzo Ball, we don't know if he's coming back. Javon Carter was not an upgrade at spacing the floor. Caruso can't stay healthy because he plays at 120 miles an hour, which I love, but you should have traded him for a first-round pick. Any team that would have given you a first-round pick, I'll see you, Alex. Thanks for your service, but that first-round pick is a little bit more important to our organization at the moment because we need to progress and get better. We are in what E-Rock said. We are in NBA hell because we are stuck in the middle with no money to spend, and we have no draft picks to spend it on as well. So it's worse right now. You've got to blow this team up.
You got Caruso and you got Drummond, who you could have traded, right?
Correct.
And the last the last week, all they did was run into him and get injured. What's this? Oh, that okay.
Yeah,
that right there. I don't even have to say anything else. because
Oh
that
my
was
God.
embarrassing. And Caruso runs into him and gets injured. I mean,
my
it is an embarrassment of a franchise right now. And look, you look at between that and the way the White Sox are going right now, Jerry just go to Florida, go hang out with TLR, do whatever y'all do, sleep in a hammock, whatever you need to do, but they need to get away from Chicago sports and let someone who cares about Chicago sports take care of these two teams.
I have been saying this: sell it to Cuban, sell him the package. I guarantee you, he'll jump on it. He's been trying to get into MVP. I'm sorry.
He wanted the Cubs so bad before the Ricketts, he was in it. He wanted it so bad
because he saw it's a gold mine. The Cubs are a gold mine, especially when they're up for sale. Come on, we know the Cubs are a gold mine. So you know what you do? You take the package. You take the full package. You take the crappy team, which is the White Sox, and we'll talk about that a little later. But the Bulls are a historic franchise with 6 championships in recent memory that you can build off. You had a Derrick Rose run that, if it wasn't for his knee getting blown out in a blowout game that he should not have been in, thanks Tom Thibodeau, they could have won a championship. They gave LeBron a run for his money. He was scared. All right. So right now, what I'm saying is, with the Chicago Bulls, you got Zach LaVine hurt. He should be back next year. Trade that dude. As soon as he's cleared, you trade him. I don't care what are you getting back. Get rid of him because he's a cancer. Ayo is going to run the point, which I find. DeMar DeRozan got a 2-year, $40 million extension offered to him.
How? He's 34 years old. Let me tell you something.
Why
I love DeMar. He's dope. He's humble. He's a great player. He rejuvenated his career after being stuck in San Antonio after that trade, right? I mean, like, let me look. He was up in Toronto living it up, right? That was his squad. He ended up because they brought in Kawhi and he brought them the championship. It's one of those things where you got a player and he just that switch. That's how they were able to get it over. But let him go and play for a contender.
You should have traded him too.
Just give him something to finish his career. He's 34 years old. Let him get New York. I mean, it's awful.
He should have went to New York. He could also go to Dallas next year because they do need a mid-range guy, because between Kyrie and Luka, one guy going down and one guy shooting from the top of the key or a 3-point line, you need somebody in the middle that's reliable to be able to shoot, because they're going to double team Luka. Dallas would be the perfect spot for him, or New York with Brunson. But the problem what I feel about New York is
Tibbs.
Exactly.
Tibbs. Because even in the game, even in the Bulls, the Knicks ran rush shot over the Bulls every time they played. Now at the end of the season, I mean, that was a close game, but I mean that was the Bulls fighting for their life. I mean, you should have been fighting the whole damn season, right? But Brunson's out there until the very last drop of sweat comes out of his body, because that's how Tibbs runs his teams. Right, they got Obi-Wan Kenobi from fucking Toronto. They brought over there. Right? I don't even know how to say his name, but I mean they brought him in, and the Knicks are on fire right now. I mean that's a fun team to watch. But wait to see what happens next year when their knees are just, because it ain't gonna be nice.
All right, Stevie B made it onto the show. Welcome, Stevie B.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, well, it's been a hot and heavy conversation about the Bulls. JC.
Oh, I thought you were going to be talking about the Bears first. Is that
no. We want to take the doo-doo out first. Take the doo-doo out first. Chicago Bulls. So we've got that out of our system, and it's really going to be a crapshoot, especially with the draft, where they don't have currency, they don't have money to spend as well. Drummond is going to be a restricted free agent. You got Lonzo Ball. We have no idea. We have Zach LaVine with no idea. P. Will is a free agent. There's a lot of turnover that's going to happen with this roster, and we know that Billy Donovan's got 2 more years with this team.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get rid of all the big names, as they should. Billy only performs well when he has young talent. No superstars. You can see that at OKC. And if you look at OKC now, first one in the seed, and they're a young squad too, right?
Yeah, I think
So
did it in a different manner that hasn't been done in the NBA, where they sucked for 3 to 4 years and accumulated 17 draft picks, number one draft picks, but they gave away. I mean, not gave away, but they traded Harden, Russell, and
Harden,
KD. So
right?
I mean, each one of them is a mega star. All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, the fact that you had all three and could have won a championship, obviously because they were young and didn't know how to do it, and they didn't have a supporting. Oh, they did. Yeah, it's Siakam on there too.
Mhm.
They had a stud ass team, but they were just young. I just really think
That was a real young team. I'm gonna tell you one thing and you're talking about those players moving around. The Bulls are in an anomaly in this league because you look at KD and Chris Paul and even Kawhi and all these players who go down the list, James Harden. These guys have moved from team to team to team to team to team, and you couldn't somehow snag one of these guys. You get out, you hold on to Vucevic and Lonzo. You get Lonzo Ball, and
they could have traded for the kid Sabonis that went and then from Indiana went to Sacramento. They could have traded Vooch for him straight up, and they did it.
And that would have been pretty cool. That would have been great to see.
Double machine.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense in the NBA for the players that they have, and they just stay stagnant. And it is frustrating when like I said, with the all the movement of all these players, and the Bulls are not in on any of them. It can't be a Jordan thing 26 years later, 27 years later. It can't. I'm sorry, it can't.
No, there was rumors going around about getting Trey Lance, Paul George, and something else to go after.
Not
Trey Lance. Trey Young. There you go.
I mean, we don't want Trey Lance either way.
Yeah, and it's like you're getting all these characters at the end of their career or mid, almost to the end.
I mean,
it's
Trey
like
Young is nowhere
in the league.
I mean, he's been in the league, and I wouldn't say he's like done, but again, Paul George, all these other veteran players, it's just like, why?
No,
to me, the bottom line is if you know that the coach has 2 years left. I mean, that's exactly why they're lining up with DeRozan with another 2-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like, we're going to give you 2 years. We're going to roll this out for 2 more years, and then we're going to blow it up. Hopefully, when we have all of our draft picks back and start from scratch is basically what it sounds like to me. I've already read, they're planning on trading Zach LaVine in the off season. So basically what you're looking at is Lonzo Ball will be back with Kobe White. They're already offering DeRozan, so you figure DeRozan's going to be in there, and then Vooch. So that's going to be your 4 with a 5th guy in there, whoever that may be.
IO.
And like I said, they're going to roll it back out there and sell tickets. That's it.
You're guaranteeing that I'm not going to watch any Bulls basketball next year. I mean, we can. The definition of insanity is expecting different results out of the same shit over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you go to White Castle and get surprised you get the shits. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Like I said, they're just going to put Lonzo out there, and like I said, they're going to put the exact same team back out there without Pat Williams, without whoever. I think Drummond's a free agent, isn't he?
Yep,
he was on a 1-year deal. So again, like, we're going to be down the guys that helped us the most. Like I said, and we're going to get nothing for LaVine. Pack of gum, maybe.
Let me tell you something. I said this when it happened. When the Chicago Bulls drafted Patrick Williams, I told you then the next 10 years of Chicago Bulls basketball would be dependent on this kid and if he was developing or not. And we have seen year after year of him just being a guy. Is he an NBA player? Sure. Is he a star? Not even close. He's like the 7th or 8th best player on your team. Right? Like, it is the one of the most disappointing draft picks of all time for the Bulls, because you had a number 4 overall pick and he ain't done shit.
No.
Yeah,
he's gonna be gone.
I disagree.
He'll
I
develop
agree with
someone
that.
else, just like Larry Marketing, just like Tyson Chandler, just like everyone else will leave here and they will develop and play somewhere and be a role player to get someone a championship. That's what's going to happen.
Bobby Portis. He will be the next Bobby Portis.
He's got a ring. He's got a ring.
Very true. I
Yeah,
agree with
it's
that.
about the man. All right, boys, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do 3 up and 3 down. So we'll listen to a small little commercial here. So come back, don't leave, and enjoy this.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Well, thank you, Sean. Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with Big Z. We got E-Rock in the house, Stevie B, and JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football, for all your football fantasy needs. Boys, it's time to talk about at least one good team in this city, and we're going to call this 3 up and 3 down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. I am outnumbered, ladies and gentlemen. I have 3 Cup fans on the program, and so it really doesn't matter because the team that I cheer for is down dead in the ditch somewhere, and we're going to talk about Chicago Cubs, our one team who is actually winning. So yeah, they're actually winning. So boys, what do we think about our Chicago Cubs at this point? We're about a month into the season. E-Rock, who hasn't talked about the Cubs, I'll let him talk about the Cubs. Go ahead.
I mean, look, I think when we look up and down this lineup, it's impressive to see, especially a guy like Michael Busch, who they traded for in the offseason from because he was essentially blocked by Freddie Freeman on the Dodgers. With the 5 games, the 5 home runs, tying the record that Morel had last year, that Rhino had in the past, a historical record for the Cubs. You're always going to remember that. But the bullpen and the pitching, I mean, I don't know if we can allow Kyle Hendricks to start another game, which is sad. You're talking about the final remaining player from the 2016 championship Cubs is just out there floundering, and he wants to do well. He just can't. Right? Of course. Now I'm going to bring up a name, and I'm sure that it's been floated around by the Yankees, by every other team that's looking for a starting pitcher, and he's currently pitching in Mexico, and he's killing it. And his name is Trevor Bauer, and he's been cleared. He has been completely cleared. The White Sox go and get Clevenger back, who, he has I think he has a restraining order against his baby mama and all this other mess, right? Why are we not going after Trevor? I don't understand this. You need another starter.
We've been saying this for 6 weeks, JC? We talked about this?
Yep. Yeah, I've talked about Trevor Bauer ad nauseum. Look, we all know he's got the off-field issues. Nobody wants to deal with him. He's a headache. He's a diva. Look, we all know that. But can we all admit, Hendricks, God, I love you, man, but you're done.
Father time is caught up with him.
Don't get me wrong. He could have a resurgence in a month and look like an all-star again, but
it is time to put that man on a 60-day IL. Put him on a 60-day IL and call up some of your young talent that you have out there. Give her a couple of innings and rotate that. Because right now, what you have with Kyle Hendricks is, what is it? I have his stats here. 12 ERA in 5 starts, surrendering 28 runs, 37 hits in 21 innings. He is throwing batting practice.
Yeah.
And the fact that he threw batting practice to the Marlins which is one notch, maybe two notches above the White Sox, is embarrassing. We've been talking about in the show. If he's not if he's hurting you more than he's helping you, it is time to put him on the IL. I wouldn't say DFA him. I put him on on the IL for 15, maybe 30 days. You have one of your pitchers come up. You start working on trade scenarios. You start looking at bad teams. You look at the A's. You look at the White Sox. You look at the Marlins. You look at all the bad teams. Even Minnesota that's struggling right now. You look at all those bad teams and you say, all right, who can I pick off? And what's the cost? That's what you start doing as a GM. It should have been done during the offseason because we talked about that too, that they made no major moves in the offseason to address the pitching staff from top to bottom.
Well, they got Imaga from Japan, who's done great so far.
Yes.
Right. You got and you got but here's what's that?
At one point, he had a 0 ERA.
Yeah, and I was at the game, and I had to see Tim Anderson hit a stupid double to get that run in to ruin Shohei's ERA. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Oh, terrible! What a bum.
The nightmare game that you can watch right now is a Kyle Hendricks start, and then Drew Smiley coming in after him in like the fourth inning after he's already had like 89 pitches, right? Like that's the nightmare game. But you got Tyon who's coming back, who just came back, right? You got Imaga, right? You got Assad, who's been decent. I mean, he's going to be there back at the end of the rotation guy. You got Keegan Thompson, who's transitioned to the bullpen, but I mean, he should be a starter, but you look at the end of the bullpen, you got Hector Neris, who has been a killer for the Astros all these years, comes to the Cubs. He's just like, what is he doing? Right. Mm-hmm. And where's their closer? Because Adzale is not a closer. I think he's basically the Cubs refuse to figure out that closer position, and they've been doing it, trying to piece it together with like whatever random closer or decent player from another team since 2016. They've been doing that over and over and over and over, and it's just like, come on.
And what's crazy is the closer that we have. He's blown more saves this year in the first 10 games than he has majority of last season.
Yeah.
So, that's always upsetting to see that. Go ahead.
Teacher, I have a solution for your problem.
Here it comes.
Michael Kopech. He's throwing 102. He's healthy physically. I don't know about mental. I'm telling you right now, you send Michael Kopech. I'm going to look at the Cubs 40-man roster. And I'm going to get two names off here. And I'm not going to go high. Let's see. What do we need? Everything, right? We need kids that can hit. I don't want Nick Madrigal before Steven says that. No, thank you.
Hey, man, he's playing a lot better than Tim Anderson. I'll tell you that.
Tim Anderson's no longer on the White Sox, sir.
Well, no, but I'm just saying in general.
Wait, here's who is on the White Sox? Because I don't think they know.
I honestly look at wins and losses here.
Hey, the coaches don't even know when to go to first base.
No, they don't. They can't even put anything together to go. Yeah, we talked about that. I
still don't know who Pedro Grafal is, to be honest with you.
He's a fall guy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, like, no one, like his parents, when he got called and he was offered that job, his parents were like, "Who is this guy?" Like, because no one's heard of him before.
If the organization you came from did not give you an interview for their head coaching position, managing position, why would the White Sox get him? Oh, because they do White Sox things. They pull Robin Ventura from coaching high school baseball. They get TLL from the Tales from the Crypt to come out of retirement.
It's a great show, by the way.
And come out and just stand there, just dead, like Weekend at Bernie's, just like, And you know what? It's White Sox business. That's what they do. They do the dumbest things ever. And you can't blame Pedro. He's not out there hitting or catching or fielding. He's not doing those things for them. But what I showed you guys on the group chat, when you put up there all right, so there was a thing on the White Sox clubhouse and had their schedule. When to work out, when to stretch this and that.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
8 out of the 10 things were optional. And I talked to my coworker who was a minor league baseball player for the Pirates. And he said, yeah, it's a grind of a season. So sometimes, they will say that's optional. And I said, Coach, if my team has 2 wins at this point, nothing is optional. We're going to hit off the tee. We're going to learn how to run off the first. We're going to learn how to stand on first. We're going to learn how to break up a double play. We're going to learn how to slide. We're going to do rudimentary things because this team only has 3 wins at the moment. So nothing is optional. And he's like, well, what would Ozzy do? Ozzy would have a heart attack, an aneurysm, because you don't know how to do with this inept team. Anyways, I just wanted to get to the
guys,
trade
proposal. Here's good news. Danny Mendick is back on the big league team.
Hey, he got 5 home runs in a row. He's I think he's like 4-2 right now.
I sent also Jose a photo of what a hot dog should look like.
Yeah.
When you do go to a game. I tried to get chicken tenders at the ballpark, but I couldn't find them.
We're not going there. Just stop. We're not going there. All right.
No ketchup on hot dogs, sir.
Hot dogs, that's fine. Chicken tendies is done. You guys have alienated your listening, viewing people. All right. Stop.
I wanted to just see, and I apologize if I was wrong. That's all I'm saying.
We are talking sports. All right.
I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Again, I just wanted to see if it was just a bad batch, but again, I didn't find them, so I'm just gonna say it at that. That's all I'm gonna say. But I went to the game on Saturday. I took myself. My boss texted me at Friday at like 11. I was already drinking, of course, and he's like, "Hey, I got 4 tickets, section 126, row 3, seats 4, 5, 6, and 7." So foul ball was like right next to me. I let the little sport grab that ball, So, but it was a good time. It was cold. It's 35 degrees.
Yeah, I was definitely still dealing with my allergies and my sinus infection, so that's why I bowed out. That would have been my second game with the Cubs this season, which would have been great. I mean, to be honest with you, it's just I was not.
And they won. They came back. Look at that.
Yeah.
You could have been watching 14U girls softball in Northwest Indiana, in beautiful Cedar Lake, Indiana, where there's nothing.
Yeah. With all there is corn.
Talk about a dead ass town. We ended up we had the first game. The first game was at 8 a.m. The second game at 9:30. The third game was at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. There is nothing to do in that town. The kids ended up going bowling at a bowling alley that had 8 lanes. That was the whole. Yes. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It was paper scoring. Yeah.
Who likes doing math?
Yeah, not me.
Definitely not me.
I definitely didn't do that. Nope. I watched.
I don't even remember how to do the math on that.
You just pull up an app and let them score on the app. That's all you got to do. Come on, use your brains, boys.
No, I'm okay.
Just for giggles and shits, I pulled up the White Sox roster right now. I recognize like 4 names.
I only know Luis Roberts. That's all I know.
Kopech, Robert, Jimenez, and who's our
Benintendi, maybe?
Benintendi, yeah, because he played for Boston.
Tendi.
Yeah, wow. JC's gonna punch Steven in the throat right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd pay to see that.
I mean, I'd take it like a man.
Good money. You heard it here first.
Well, I mean, I'm I'm still excited to go see the Cubs. I'm excited for that. I don't know. I'll probably go to a couple more games. I think the next one I go is in a suite, so not to rub it in, but
that's the one I want to go to. All right, I'm gonna stay.
Oh yeah, these are great seats too. My heater jacket died at like the 7th inning though, so
yeah, I would have been freezing.
Yeah, it was always fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna come up with a scenario for a trade, and I'm gonna put it up on the site because and I'm not gonna be a homer or a meathead and be like, oh, let me get Pete Crow Armstrong. No, I know that's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna get a nice little minor league deal for Kopech to get over to to the north side, so you guys can actually close some games against the contenders, because you're going to be playing Atlanta.
We have the Astros coming, Astros coming in
tomorrow.
this weekend. Tomorrow.
Yep, sure do. So, it's nothing to sneeze at. So yeah, we do. I know we touched on the emergence of Michael Bush, but what has been your impression of his season so far?
I mean, frankly, I'm just impressed that we are putting quite a bit of points up on the board. I mean, 7 runs, 8 runs. I mean, like I said, it's pretty consistent that we're putting
scoring team in MLB.
A good amount on the board. So I mean, let's start with that. I mean, just the entire team, going about their thing and doing pretty damn well. Other than that, like I said, I mean, I just keep coming back to, like I said, I know we need to replace Hendricks, and like I said, we definitely need a closer because, like I said, we had a game in the bag the other night, and like I said, the Marlins, what was it, like a 2-run hit or 2-run homer, and like I said, game over, and it's just like, come on, like you cannot, as an organization, especially, like, you can't go to the playoffs without a closer. So I agree. We do have to do something, whether it's with the White Sox or, whoever. But I mean, we got to get something better than what we have in the bullpens right now.
And they're doing this without Justin Steele, right?
Right.
We can't forget he is coming back to the rotation, right? So
I mean,
without Steele and without Seiya, who's been out for a couple of days now. So I mean, they're putting runs on the board. We just have to sit there and stop other teams from also putting runs on the board, because that's what it's been. I mean, it's been an offensive explosion for both the offense and the defense. So the problem is that you have to score runs just to stay in the game. You're 13-9 right now. You're second in the division. There's no reason they can't win this division, but they do have to really, really kind of, be healthy, number one, and number two, add to this roster to solidify it as you go through the season.
I will say this, and I don't know if you guys notice this, but the Cubs have a hard schedule in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's maybe the tough schedule in the whole league. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong, but they got to play the Astros next. Then they got to go to Fenway Park. Red Sox, hit or miss. They're still up there. They're not as bad as they were last year, but they're still up there with the Yankees. And that whole division is like anyone's game. Then they got to play the Mets. Now the Mets, hit or miss. They could be good. They could be bad depending on who they are as a team, because they started off really crappy and then they got a couple wins together. Then we get the Brewers in town, which is going to be exciting. That's going to be May 4th. May 3rd, May 4th, and the 5th. Then San Diego's here, then the Pirates, then the Braves. I mean, these guys have to be locked and loaded and ready to play every day, because
they've already been through that, though. You started the season against the World Series champs.
Right.
You played them hard. That was a playoff series to start the season.
Absolutely. Yes.
They've already played the 2 teams in the World Series already. They've played both teams in the World Series this season. They've played the Dodgers a couple times. They had to go play Seattle in Seattle, where they haven't played in like 27 years. They played the Padres. They've already played. They've been through the gamut and played tough teams, and they've played them tough, and they've come out on top. They went on that West Coast trip. It was a big concern. How are you going to come out to start the season?
Yep.
And they went 5-4 on that trip, where they easily could have done a lot worse than that. So, I mean, I think so far they've done a really good job. I think that they did a really good job in Seattle, because I don't know, because they're not familiar with them. Seattle didn't know what came and hit them, right? So you look at what they've done up and down, and like I said, to start the season, they are doing really well, especially considering, again, you are missing your ace of your pitching squad. So I mean, your pitching staff. So you've done a really good job. Now you just have to keep the wheels on the road, and like I said, you get Seiya back, you get Justin Steele back, and you just keep pounding, keep going, and just keep it going.
I think also Nico Horner, man, this guy's a stud on defense. I think he's going to get another Gold Glove this year. The way he's stopping the ball from advancing, his dives, everything like that. I've talked about it with Jose off air too. Guy's a stud when it comes to defense. And morale. I think Saturday, kind of messed up on a pitch coming to him on third base. And that was always one of my things that I was kind of nervous about because he's not used to playing third base. But how do you get better at third base? You play the position. Everyone's going to make mistakes. It's like irrelevant to always be perfect when you go out there. That's the plan, to be perfect. But hey, he was playing third. Accidents happened. Someone got on first base. And then that kind of led the whole thing of Shote to get that hit. But I mean, at the same time, it's like everyone's trying to figure it out, but they're doing a great job. The coaches are guiding them really well. I think if you want to talk about off-field things, like the coaches, pitching coaches, every one of them is a great coach in teaching them and managing them. And look at the rookies. They're being developed. And I think that's something that you don't see in any other team here in the city so far. Development. And I think that's a great thing. Like Michael Busch is doing really well. They got a great hitting coach, right? They know how to study the player. They have analytics. They have data. Sure. But I just think it's a moving forward with this team. And I get nervous because that's me, a Cubs fan, because I think, always that these other teams are going to beat us. But I shouldn't be scared anymore. I shouldn't be afraid.
No.
I'm okay.
The Cubs are not the team that's getting bullied on. They are one of the bullies now.
Yeah.
And I agree with E-Rock's assessment. They did the West Coast loop, and then they had the West Coast loop on the come into town as well. So if you look at how they played those West Coast team, which is the cream of the cream, right? The cream that the top of the cream that rises over there, right? The Dodgers are 13-11. They're almost 500. The Padres are 500. The Diamondbacks are 1 game under 500. The Giants are 3 games under 500. Well, the Rockies are the Rockies.
Right.
So the Cubs played them their hardest schedule at the beginning of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't falter. They either split or won the series. So I think it was a win for the Cubs to come out of that, and say, you know what, we beat them, we split with them, we hung with them. It's the beginning of the season. We're not even warmed up yet. Once we get on the run, look out for the Cubs. I told everybody the Pirates are a flash in the pan. They always start off hot and then they just simmer down.
Burnt to a crisp. Yeah,
right.
The Cubs are playing like a professional team, and what I mean by that is lunch pail, hard work, nose to the grindstone. You don't have flashy guys. I mean, if you want to call Christopher Morel flashy, fine, with the kitty cat, the the eye black. But I mean, you look up and down. Yan Gomes, veteran, right? And then you got Amaya. So you got a great mentor for Miguel Amaya. Michael Busch, workman, just comes out there. He was blocked, like I said, by Freeman. Comes over there. You don't see him making silly mistakes. Nico Horner, homegrown guy, right? Just out there playing his ass off on defense. He's, we got to see him heat up on offense a little bit.
Right.
Dansby Swanson, another guy at work. He needs to pick up the offense as well. But you brought back Cody, right? He's got they're chanting his name in the freezing cold, and he's sitting there. He's like, all right.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
You want a homer? You get a homer.
Yeah, and I saw one. It was like it was a home run to get the first score on the board. So first run on the board.
This is a professional baseball team.
I would say organization as well, to throw that in what you're saying too.
You just, again, you need those little pieces, solidify your bullpen like you did when you brought in what was the I forget his name, Andrew, whatever, with the mustache, the guy that everyone loved.
Jeffing?
Yes.
Jeffing.
Yeah, I like that guy. That guy was cool. I think he's playing in like Detroit now or somewhere sad.
Yeah. Hey, he played for the White Sox, so it could be worse for him.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so I mean, I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about with the Cubs. I love that Michael Busch has had the resurgence. I love that we understand that where the Cubs are right now, they're going to be a contender. They're a couple pieces away. They need a couple bullpen arms. They might need a starter, depending on what they're going to do with Hendricks. But overall, I think the Cubs are in good shape. Do I think they could have added more in the offseason? Of course. But what I think is that they didn't want to get into that luxury tax tier 2, which is what would put them over.
I think what it tells you is that they believe in the team and the players that they put on the field, right? Bullpen and pitching is one thing, right? Because you can always I don't care who you are. you can always add pitching because you're going to have some guys that are up, down years, whatever it is. But they were very pleased with, again, the acquisition of Michael Busch. You got, look up and down. The main piece that they brought back was Cody Bellinger because you know what I mean? And I think the further you got into the offseason, the closer you got to the beginning of the season, you knew that he was coming back here because there was nowhere. And this whole, the way that the offseason went was just nuts with Scott Boras, all this other mess. But they were very pleased with what they brought in. They brought in the pitcher from Japan. They knew that Justin Steele was going to be their ace. They brought in Tyon last year. Your weak link is going to be Hendricks and, of course, Drew Smiley's bum ass. But other than that, again, pitching, your lineup up and down. Again, professional baseball team. I like the way it's put together. You don't have, you look at what happened with the Padres a couple years ago when they just added every single free agent and great player that was out there, individuals. The same thing with the Dodgers, individual players, right? You have all these stars that are fighting for stardom. You don't have that in the Cubs. They're a bunch of workmen. They play for each other. They play hard. They go out there and just get the job done.
They still need an ace, and they still need a bullpen.
Justin Steele is going to be an ace. He's there.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on that.
Absolutely not.
And I'm also looking at.
Go ahead.
You go look at our prospects, and I mean, you still got Cade Horton out there, who supposedly is going to come up this year.
Come on, we've all said prospects are suspects, man, and especially during the playoff run. Yes, they can help out, but they're not going to come up and be dominant. Look at the kid.
But if he can play better than Hendricks is doing right now, I'll take it.
He'll have one or two good starts until the MLB figures him out.
Well, like I said,
baseball is prospects and suspects, bro. You look at the kid with the Orioles, right? You got he's your Holiday son. He's like 67 right now, so it's not as easy as it looks in the minor leagues, in A-ball, AA, AAA. Those guys are working on stuff.
He's going to be a stud, though. He is going to be a stud.
Yes, but it's not like I said. It's not going to happen overnight. He's not going to come here and just tear it up. They'll look at film and they'll figure it out. And especially with pitching, they figure out your tendencies. They figure out what percentage of what pitch you pitch all the time, and they pick up on that. So it takes a while, especially for pitching. Yes, if you Kid Horn comes up, he'll have a good start, and then they have film on them, and they'll make the adjustments. The White Sox had the two rookies start back to back, and they gave up one gave up 0 runs, the other one gave up 2 runs. But our offense is shit. So it don't matter. And I'm pretty sure their next start is not going to go as well as their first start because there was no film on them.
Hey, do you want Matt Mervis? Is that who you want on the White Sox? Why not?
No, I want kids.
He's 26.
No, I want 20-year-olds. I want 20, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds.
Kids.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with some Bears talk in 3 and out. So let's take a quick break.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with Big Z. In the house, we got E-Rock, Stevie B, and JC Dynasty Football. And if you don't know what time it is time for 3 and Out. All right, first down. Bears' number 1 pick should be Caleb Williams. Do we all agree on this at this point?
I said it when I was on here a month ago before my surgery. There's no way in hell that they're not picking Caleb. That's been a foregone conclusion. He came out this week on I think it was the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark. You heard a lot about how he when he was sitting in, I think he was sitting in traffic and on his way to a business meeting, and he heard that the Bears traded Justin and all this other mess. Again, trading him to the Steelers is a dream scenario for me. He works out great for me. But I mean, there's no way. This is Ryan Pohl's entire career as a GM. This is Ryan Pohl's next 15 to 20 years in the NFL is making this pick. You can't mess this up.
Jason,
is it horrible that if I were Ryan Poles, I would mess it up?
Well, yes.
Like, would it be horrible for me to be like, hey, Washington, you still offering that number 2 and the next 2 firsts? And because it's like, dude, I'll walk away with Jaden Daniels. I don't give 2 whatever if I can walk away with 2 more firsts. Like, all right.
No.
What? Like, to me, look, I know everyone says Caleb is the guy and whatever, but I still look at that Notre Dame tape and it's just like, God, that game was ugly.
So wait, game.
I am a Notre Dame fan. I watched the hell out of that game and they beat his ass. And Notre Dame was this is at this point we're debating it for the sake of debate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a foregone conclusion. It came out this week that he had instead of having the dinner with Poles, because they've already talked to this kid ad nauseum. They had a meeting with the leaders of the team, right?
Yeah.
It's
we've all heard that.
You don't do all of that if that's not the pick, right? And I get it. For the sake of debate, we can go back and forth, this and that. But I mean, it's over. Now, here's the thing. You look at the really, really interesting thing is what's going to happen at 9. That's the thing. You're looking at the receivers. Before you even mention the tight end, please don't do that.
I had my list. I had a list. That was my sit down point.
We're not drafting a tight end at 9. We're not drafting a tight end at 9. It's a
all
receiver.
All of my buddies want a tight end at 9, and I'm telling you, I don't.
Why?
Because he's generational. Listen, I don't care if he's generational. We already have a top 10 tight end in Komet.
Yes.
Again, how many times do I have to come on here week after week and say there is only one team that has ever produced with 2 tight ends, and that was Aaron Hernandez and Gronk on the Patriots. There is no other team that has ever ran 2 tight ends that have put over 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. All right, stop it.
And even
I
after
understand, maybe he is generational, but let him be generational with freaking Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Okay, like, can we stop it? There are other positions that the Bears need of way more importance than a tight end.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a list because that is my second down point. And at 9, Brian Murphy, defensive end. We got Adunze at wide receiver. We got Dallas Turner at the edge and Joe Ott on the offensive line. So out of those 4, who are we picking? Somebody go.
Adunze is the only guy for me at 9.
100%.
And Alt.
I'm with you.
Alt will never make it to 9.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a wide receiver on this one.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick, because there's about 150 million of these mock drafts up here. I just picked one. The CBS one that just pulled up right here. They've, you got Williams at 1, Drake May at 2, quarterback, Washington, right? Quarterback JJ over to New England at 3. Perfect. Good looking, strong chin, white dude. It got to be the quarterback at New England because that's how they do it, right? Jaden Daniels to New York, the Jets. Or not the Jets, I'm sorry, the Giants at 4. And then Marvin Harrison over to Arizona. And then Joe Alt, second generation lineman, to the Chargers. They got Neighbors going to Tennessee at 7. Michael Penix going number 8 to the Vikings. And at number 9, Rome Odunze I'm all in. I am all in on this. No need to make some crazy ass trade to try to get up. You know what I mean? They're talking about, oh, well, what if you offered the number 9 and next year's first to get Marvin Harrison? Look, man, stick where you are. You don't have that many draft picks. The next pick you have after that is like number 75, and you got number 122, and that's it. Right. So unless every single guy that you want is absolutely gone, you take Dunze there. You're not. A lot of people were saying, well, they're set at wide receiver because they got the guy that's going to play 10 games in the 10 games a year, and then they got your stud. But you need another guy. If they go ahead and follow the plan and get a Dunze, you have one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL, and then you're going to pair him with Caleb Williams. I mean, if you fail, then it's not on you as a GM. And the players, you set them up for success.
Yeah. At this point, you warmed up the stove, you put all the ingredients on the table, and you say, hey, this is how you cook everything. I mean, you've literally got everything pre-planned for you, preheated for you. You're ready to go. I do agree getting that wide receiver is going to be the game changer. But there's many people saying out there that they should trade back to try to get a second round or some draft capital to supplement not having so many picks. What do you guys say about that?
Is Odunze on the board? If Odunze is on the board, you do not trade back. If Odunze is gone and Joe Alt is gone, then yeah, you trade back, because there's nobody in that 9-pick range that deserves really to be there that we need. Again, we don't need a tight end. We don't need Bowers. We don't really need a cornerback. The edge rushers, none of them are really worthy of the number 9 pick. So to me, if I can trade back from 9, if Odunze and Joe Alt are not there, then yeah, I would trade back, and then I would look at Brian Murphy and or Jerzon Newton or Jared Verse. Those would be my 3 guys if we trade back into the 12 to 15 range that I would be fine with.
What about Neighbors? Because if Odunze is gone,
Neighbors, you have to move on. I have a feeling Neighbors is a move up, because I know you kind of went through your little mock draft or whatever you said, but to me, like, I look at the Giants, they need wide receiver. The Titans could use a wide receiver. The Chargers definitely need a wide receiver. So you got 3 teams sitting right there in front of you, and not only that, Arizona needs wide receiver. So there's 4 teams. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying is that if you look, and again, just based on this random mock, you got Daniels out there, you got Marvin Harrison. You know what I mean? If Neighbors is picked, that means that Joe Alt is probably going to be there, right? That's where, when you break it down, Odunze, Neighbors, one of those guys is going to be there at 9. They have to be. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of project the rest of the draft.
There's that, and then there's also Fashanu, who's another left tackle. So there is possibility that Giants and Titans and Chargers, one of those 3 teams or 2 of those 3 teams do take a left tackle in Alt and Fashanu. There's also a left tackle, Fuaga. So like I said, I mean, there's plenty of tackles, but like I said, I mean, when you look at the defensive side of the board in this draft, there's really nobody in the top 10. Like you hear the rumor that Atlanta at 8 potentially for Turner, but again, even he, like, if you go look at big boards and some of this stuff from like Daniel Jeremiah and all this other stuff, like, he's really not listed as like a top 10 prospect. So again, to me, it's just one of those where the 2 guys, to me, it's Alt and Odunze. If Neighbors is there at 9, I will draft Neighbors happily. I feel he's a different wide receiver than what we're really looking for. I think we're looking more for that big body outside guy in Odunze. But like I said, I've watched tape on Neighbors. his hands are phenomenal. I mean, everything he catches is with his hands. Nothing gets close to his body. And he is one of those guys. He's like a Zay Jones. You get the ball in his hands and he can take it 75 yards.
Mhm.
He just has a different gear once the ball is in his hands that he can just break away and take it to the house. So to me, that's where, like I said, I feel like Odunze or Neighbors will be gone. But like I said, I mean, it's all in what these teams like, because like I said, I can see Odunze going first and then Neighbors falling. You know what I mean? So it's all in, again, what we, how these teams see these prospects. But
I just think with so many teams needing quarterbacks, right? I think you're just gonna have a super all the quarterbacks that are worth anything are going to be gone in those first few picks, and because of that, the Bears benefit because of that, because all these other teams need quarterbacks as well. Washington, New England, the Vikings after they didn't bring back Kurt. You know what I mean? Like there's that need that's there, and when you can fill it with Jaden Daniels and Drake May and JJ, like it's just there. I mean, the Bears are set up for such a sweet ass draft this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, like I said, it's also, are those teams quarterbacks available? Like I said, I'm hearing rumblings that, the Giants really like one guy. Will it fall to them? Are the Vikings going to try and trade up in front of the Giants? So then they would be looking to trade into either 4 or 5, which, are the Chargers willing to give up the chance at, Joe Alt? I don't think so. Like I said, they also have Fashanu there. They could still get a left tackle, if they move back a little bit. But like I said, as they say, this draft starts at 2, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting draft. I don't, because it's one of those, like, I could see teams being like, no, we're not moving. Like, I want Marvin Harrison. I want Malik Neighbors. I want Joe Alt. Like, and then the Vikings are sitting there going, we're sitting here at 11. We still want to come get our guy, and they can't move up in front of, say, the Giants, or
it's a lot of these mocks. And again, like there's 150 of these things out there that all have the Vikings trading up to 5 with the Chargers to get one quarterback, whoever's out there. You know what I mean? Because you got, again, you talk about starting at 2, who's going to go where?
Well, and that's the thing, is like, is there potential they could still get Fashanu at 11? Maybe. I honestly don't know. Like, I don't pay attention enough to very many mock drafts. Like, I'll pay attention to Daniel Jeremiah's and some other people, but like, I don't look at every single, who thinks who's going where. But like I said, it's one of those where, like I said, I could see a lot of trades happening, or I could see a lot of teams saying, no, we're not moving. It's going to be one way or the other. Because like I said, I mean,
we know Caleb's won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Washington picking?
I think it'll be Daniels.
Yeah, I agree with that one too.
As much as I do not think Jaden Daniels wants to go there, I mean, he still has Terry McLaurin. He still has Jahan Dotson. I mean, they just got oh God, who's the running back?
They got
Akers or Elker or Eckler. So I mean, they brought in Eckler. They still got Brian Robinson there. They still got I don't know that they really have a tight end in Washington anymore, because it used to be Logan Thomas, but I think he might be gone now. But like I said, I know that, the Washington Commanders are really frowned upon just because of the old owner. But now it's just a matter of, changing the perception. It's new ownership. It's new GM, new management, new everything. So, like I said, it's definitely one of those, like, as an organization, you look at the Commanders and it's kind of like, yeah, I definitely don't want to go there. But you also have to keep in mind, we're dealing with new people. So, to me, the interesting one would be who goes to the Patriots, because to me, the Patriots need way more on that team than just a quarterback. So to me, like the Patriots would be the team that potentially could be the trade out option of anybody.
I think this draft is too quarterback rich to pass up. They can. I mean, I don't see how they can.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
again, to me, if they could trade back to 11 and but still, if they could trade back to 11 and 24, I forget the Patriots picked up, was it Brissett? No, who they got a quarterback to come in. I forget who it is. But like I said, you let him roll out there for a year and say you take a Penix Jr. or, a Bo Nix later on at the 24 pick. Like I said, to me, the Patriots have a lot more needs than, the number 3 drafting a quarterback is going to fix.
They did bring back
Bill Belichick left them in a horrible situation. They do not have much to go with.
They got Bailey Zappi, man. What are you talking about? Bailey Zappi?
No, not behind that offensive line. Not behind
Bailey Zappies. That's what I thought that was.
Okay.
Those are the chips that pop.
And he's got like one wide receiver, I think, on the roster.
You got KJ Osborne and then Kendrick Bourne, and they have Austin.
There you go, my guy KJ Osborne's there, huh?
Yeah, and they got Juju.
That'll be interesting.
Talk about a fall off, Juju. My God, you should stay with the freaking Steelers.
Yeah,
good Lord.
All right, boys, let's close out the Bears segment. The Chicago Bears are preparing to make a big announcement about their bid for the new stadium on the lakefront, not Arlington Heights. The team's planning to hold a press conference with the city officials this Wednesday to unveil their plans for a new publicly owned stadium on the museum campus, according to, additional park space and improved access to the lakefront. This is crazy. Wasn't the museums, who was it? John Lucas or
yeah,
the Star Wars.
Yeah,
he wanted to put the Star Wars museum up there by next to McCormick, and Friends of the Park, right? Those that organization said nope. So, do we think this is going to happen with the lakefront stadium, or are we still going to Arlington Heights?
Aren't the Bears already occupying a stadium owned by the Chicago Park District? They don't got no friends over there. They don't got no friends. What the hell, man? Look, I think overall, I trust Kevin Warren. And should I? I mean, I don't see why I shouldn't. Right. I mean, he did a really, really good job with what they had going on in Minnesota. I trust him. I trust him. Publicly funded is the big thing there. You know what I mean? Like how bad. And I think that's the pushback you're getting from Arlington Heights, because you want your tax break and all that, and they're like, nah, we're good. Bring back the horses.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think if you don't see the mayor there, I think it's an idea of what it's gonna look like and their plan if they do decide to be on the lakefront. Also, I think it's kind of like a poker face. Like, hey, we have other plans. Arlington Heights, sorry, but not sorry. If we can't get a tax break, I guess. I think they're going to stay downtown. That's just my thing. Or wait it out. And again, they could have a new stadium by 2030. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Because it's taken so long to figure out what you're going to do. It's like you're trying to choose who to take to the dance.
Like I said, there is always going to be a last second deal here. In my opinion, to me, yeah, the lakefront is great, but like I said, this whole Friends of the Park or whatever the heck they're called, like I said, I think they're going to stir up a hornet's nest. It is going to cause major issues, and all the while, the Bears are playing Arlington Heights perfectly into this. Listen, like, help us out here. We're going to bring in massive amount of money, like. Get your stuff together. I know the school districts want their cut, but guess what? you're going to have to deal with it, you know.
Give them their cut. Look, let me tell you something.
Those school districts and those in that area already are very well off. Okay. So second of all, they're going to get their cut regardless. They're just being greedy. The amount of revenue and tax revenue that's going to come in through there is going to be ridiculous because it's a year-around income that's going to be coming in through there.
Concerts, food,
WrestleManias, NCAA tournaments, bowl tournaments
downtown too. I mean, they can do all that downtown.
I mean, it's going to be condo complexes, high rises. I mean, you're going to be putting in doctors' offices and all kinds of stuff. I mean, the sports book alone,
hotel, restaurants, sports book, year-round facility. Now, if you look historically at any football stadium, I don't care where it is, I don't care how nice the weather is, it is the worst investment a town can, just because of the amount of real estate you're taking up and the amount of time it's actually going to get used. It's not really that much, but I mean, when it comes to you're going to get people that live in the area that don't want it, but you're going to have more people that live in the area that are going to want to go there when you come from out of town. Maybe you don't want to go. You don't like the big city of Chicago, blah, 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 blah. You want to hang out in Arlington Heights. Fine. Because you got all of everything that you can put is to be all inclusive there. Now, the Bears are set up in a perfect position right now to negotiate with Brandon Johnson. Because every time I see Brandon Johnson on TV, he looks like he is so surprised that he actually won the election. He's got oh shit, oh, it's me. Okay, Lori Lightfoot.
Oh, you call my name? Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot wasn't standing for that shit. She's like, no, get your ass inside. Some people still got COVID. Brandon Johnson's like, oh shit, okay, all right. Anyone seen my notebook? Like, he just looks surprised all the time to be wherever he is. And with all the stuff that's going on with the fallen police officer from this week, the police shooting, all the stuff, he's got his hands so full, he's not focusing on that. So he's got someone else. And I'm willing to bet that whatever someone slaps on his desk, he's like, yeah, okay, fine. Get him whatever. I got way more important shit to worry about than what the Bears are doing. So I think as far as like the Bears are set up and Kevin Warren set up, you're in a perfect position to kind of just bowl him over, to be honest with you.
I can't disagree with that just because I don't think he's a smart man. I don't want to get political on this show. That's all I'll say about that. All right, boys, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with what you're watching, and we'll be right back. All right.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to Nowhere on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with Big Z in the house. We got E-Rock, Stevie B, and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football.
Yes,
and this week, we are going to talk about what are we watching to close out the show. And E-Rock, what you watching, bro? What you watching?
What you looking at? Yeah, old school. Dude, so as you know, all I do is watch softball and sports, but my dumb shows that I watch are back. Just today, Upshaw's, I think, season 4 or 5, the Mike Epps show. Terrible show. It's so corny, where he owns an auto body shop. Wanda Sykes is in it. Tootie from Facts of Life is on it. So I mean, started watching that today. And The Circle, that stupid ass reality TV show on Netflix, came back. It's we talked about this when it first came out. It's basically a bunch of people living individually in apartments in the same apartment building, but they can only communicate through their own internal social media thing. Some people are catfish, some people are this. The really cool thing that they did this year is one of the characters is an AI, and they don't know any information except for what's shared in their little social media thing. So, and then they just let them all know one of you is AI. So watching them all like accuse each other, all the humans accuse each other for as being AI, stupid as hell. I can't stop watching this dumbass show. I am not a reality TV show person whatsoever, but it's so dumb, and I can't get enough of it.
Click on the image that has the bicycles on it.
Oh God! And the other thing that came back that was really entertaining on Apple TV, it's called Loot. It has Maya Rudolph as the main character. Got divorced, got billions and billions of dollars, and most of the show is just her trying to figure out how to deal with all that money and how to spend it wisely and compassionately towards people that don't have money. It's almost anything you watch on Apple TV is going to be an amazing show. So it's ridiculous how many good shows they have on there. Plus, like every damn show they have has some SNL alum on there. And of course, I've been watching SNL every week.
JC, anything you got there?
Yeah, Fallout, which is
nice. I was going to talk about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, like I said, Fallout. I don't want to say too much about it, but first couple episodes, you're getting into it. To me, sometimes like if they don't get to like a storyline quick enough, like I can lose interest. So like by episode 3, like I was starting to lose interest because I'm like, all right, who are these people? Like, what's the story here? Like, who is this character? Like, how do they all, come together? So like I said, to me, like TV shows that kind of play that game where they don't want to give you like the storyline quick enough can, like I said, it can lose my attention a little bit. But in the end, definitely, like I said, it came along. I thought by the last couple episodes, I was hooked. But that's just my thoughts. I'll let Steven talk about it a little more here in a second. And then I watched the second part of what the heck was that movie? Rebel Moon, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I watched the second part of that. And then one of my go-to shows, which I rewatch. I rewatch Scrubs like once a year. I rewatch another show called Psych like once a year. So those are my two like I'll binge watch like the whole series once a year. Just because I love those shows, and I love like kind of slapstick comedies. So like I said, Scrubs is one for me that I have one of those active imaginations that when I'm doing something, I'll be thinking about, I'll be off daydreaming about doing something else. So like, I really kind of connect with the character JD a lot from Scrubs. Where,
I got something for you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
JC is about Scrubs, as a matter of fact. So Donald Faison, I forget where, I think it was Jimmy Fallon or something like that. And he talked about when he first started working with Zach Braff and they had an apartment together. And he goes, we've been best friends and we didn't even know yet. And I realized we were best friends when we were in our apartment, standing around in our underwear playing ping pong. We're like, oh shit, you're my best friend. So they're like real life best friends, and now they got the T-Mobile commercials or whatever it is now. So yeah,
but they have a podcast too, which I think is, I think it might be called Best Friends or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But like, and again, like they go through like all the episodes of Scrubs and they talk about it. But I mean, like such a great cast. I mean, one of the greatest characters to me is Dr. Cox from Scrubs. And then recently they did another show called Ground Floor, which was on, I think it was TNT or TBS. It had like 2 seasons, but it was the same character, like Dr. Cox, but he was playing like a big time money manager. And I mean, just absolutely hysterical. So if you've never seen that show, I don't know if it's on Hulu or Netflix or whatever, Ground Floor, check it out. Because if you like Dr. Cox, you will love his character in Ground Floor. He just plays one of those.
Loves Cox, so I mean, he's gonna love it.
Well, like I said, he even pokes fun of his former characters from Scrubs, where like I said, he's like a money manager, and he's like, I don't get sick. Sick gets me. Or like, I forget the exact line, but it's one of those where like he's like, I can't get sick, and he's like, he's on one of those stand-up desks, and then like his assistant comes in and like lowers the desk. And like as it lowers, like he starts falling asleep, and he's sitting there like, "You son of a," because like he didn't want to stop working.
Talking about Dr. Cox, and it reminds me of is how he obviously he's always talking down to people, but there's one quote or one line that I remember from that show that I'm really, really upset that we never cut for this show, especially when Steve was on. Stevie, I'm talking to you. The one where he goes, wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. And I was like, man, that would have been the perfect clip for every time Steven was on the show.
But technically, I was never wrong. So,
you're wrong about that. So I mean, you're if you were technically never wrong, this is the first time. Perfect for the situation.
No, my odds, the way it balances, man. I got more wins than losses.
Still got losses.
Well, I don't have that many losses like the White Sox. I'll tell you that. But yeah, okay. So Fallout, JC, to answer your question, you kind of have to play the game. I think that's how the show's running. I was the same way. They didn't want to over-explain it because then it's like people who play the game. It's like, what's the point? But I think it gets better. I played some of the game. I never played the whole game. But I do enjoy it. But what I have been liking is X-Men 97. And I've been talking about that. I think the animation is really great. It was cool to have some of the characters come back, the voice actors come back, do their thing. I mean, it's not a Saturday morning kid show for us because there's some scenes in there that it's like, holy hell, that's intense. And the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer came out today. So I was really happy about that. Another one. So I was really happy. I literally closed my door at work, turned it on my phone, and watched it, and had no one disturb me. So, which was nice.
Awesome.
I haven't really had a chance. The X-Men 97, I've been trying, but like the feeds haven't been working for me. I think I've watched the first 2 episodes, and like I said, I tried starting episode 3, and the feed wasn't working. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you're using an Amazon Fire Stick. Sometimes you just don't get a feed, so you just got to keep trying sometimes.
I get it.
But like I said, yeah.
I want to know what Z's watching because there ain't no way he's watching White Sox games. Even when I had it on before the show, he's like, "Why are you watching that shit?"
I'm not watching that shit. They're losing 7-0 or whatever it was at the last time I looked. I am watching a lot of TV. Thank you. Yes, I did watch the latest Roadhouse. I thought it was a great movie.
Thank you.
Dude, I love it. I've been arguing with people online about it, and they're like, it was terrible. I said, Conor McGregor is a terrible actor, but that's what made up for it. The fight scenes with him, it made it so much better. And I watched that, and I rewatched the first Roadhouse again, and I'm like watching Patrick Swayze do his ballet jazz, like jumping out of a window in his jazz like spin fighting. I'm like, this is so
bad,
so corny. It is so bad. They're like, it's not the original. Like, shut the fuck up.
There's just nostalgic to it. That's it. The second
thing to me is
really good.
Hold on. As the martial artist of this group, I will say what Patrick Swayze did. It was a different type of martial arts. It was not. The character he was portraying is not an MMA fighter. Okay.
Oh,
he
he's
was like a
capoeira
traditional.
or whatever he is.
Capoeira.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there is a great capoeira movie out there involving a teacher teaching underprivileged kids capoeira. I forget the name of the movie. I'll have to look that up. But it is a great movie. Actually, it might be with the guy from the John Wick movies, who also did like the Top Chef, whatever. If you've ever seen the thing online where it's like they're doing a cooking competition and he's like, and the special ingredient is beer.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the Iron Chef guy.
Yeah, Iron Chef. There we go. I believe it may not have been him, but there is a capoeira movie. Sorry, I have my laptop in front of me and I am trying to look it up. Only the Strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the guy from Iron Chef.
Yep.
Interesting.
This is an ingredient like that.
The special ingredient is beer.
Yeah, like octopus.
But yeah, no. I think I was the first one to mention Roadhouse here, and I said like I don't think it could have been an in theater movie. I don't know that the quality or the anticipation to go to a theater to see that would have been there, but yeah, for streaming, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was perfect. I know you guys said you didn't really like,
I did
acting, but I thought it was hilarious that he was just playing like a complete psycho. Just keeps
I think that's who he is in reality, honestly.
He's like, "Oh, what's up, fuckers? Look at me. I'm Conor McGregor." Like, we know who you are. You're just playing yourself, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But to me, it's just like you're just like, okay, we're done with Conor, and then all of a sudden, like, it cuts to him like wrecking a car and like getting out, and then being like, "I'm here to fight again," and it's like, I thought we were done with you. Like,
it's like a bad video game. It really is.
I know tomorrow
you get thrown from a boat like 50 feet and like, you should not be walking right now.
Hey,
yeah.
I know tomorrow, me and Sean are going to see Late Night with the Devil. It's a TV host that has this girl on the show, and she's actually possessed, and they have a studio live audience, and it's just like weird paranormal stuff, so
I'm out.
Yeah, it's only for the brave, for sure.
Yeah, you go with that.
I mean, I sleep well at night after I come home.
Yeah. Okay. I've been watching Manhunt on Apple TV. It is based off the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and the search for John Wilkes Booth and how they go after him. And it kind of cuts back and forth with a little bit more Abraham towards the end right now. It's really interesting just because I'm a history buff. I really enjoy those things. Definitely a good show to watch. The other one was Masters of the Air. Phenomenal. I believe it's Steven Spielberg produced and all that. Phenomenal movie. It's series. I think it's like 8 or 10 episodes. World War II is just about the air fighting and so forth, and they talk about different eras and different battalions that went up there, the Red Tails and everyone else. It's really, really a good show. Was able to watch that, and then yesterday I did watch Dune, the original, the latest, the first one, not the second one that came out, because everyone's like, "You gotta watch Dune. You gotta watch Dune." I'm like, "Well, I'm not watching White Sox." I watched Dune. I thought it was decent. I'm glad it ended where it did, because it was like, this movie's getting a little long and it's a little slow. So I'm excited to see part 2, which I believe is out now. And then
you could get it on Amazon and rent it. You don't have to leave your couch for that.
I'm not gonna leave my couch for that.
No.
So I'm gonna watch part 2. I'm not leaving my couch.
Yo, two trailers that came out though. One is Fly Me to the Moon. Have you seen the trailer for that? So Fly Me to the Moon is a story. It has I think Channing Tatum and
oh yes, okay.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The
the
Scarlett
fake
Johansson and so they're setting up for the moon landing but then also just to be sure, they're setting up a fake moon landing in case the real moon landing doesn't actually happen.
Oh,
Yeah, so that looked funny and kind of interesting. The other movie, and I know a lot of people don't like this guy, but M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong is coming out with a brand new movie, and it's called Trap. And this one right here, this one is cool because it's essentially about like a serial killer
and a Taylor Swift concert,
and at a Taylor Swift type of artist or singer or whatever. But it turns, so this is starring a guy that you have not seen in the last 20 years, Josh Hartnett. He is the yeah. And now here's the thing. It's a twist. He's the serial killer. They mention it in the trailer. And now you're watching him try to figure out how to get out of this.
With his daughter, not knowing.
His daughter at this big show. And I mean, it's literally like a trap. Like it's completely, the place is completely surrounded by cops and all this stuff. A lot of people don't like him. I like his movie just because like I like that kind of kick in the ass at the end. Some people are like, it was stupid. And I'm like, look, man, sometimes trees try to kill you. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, just bringing up Josh Hartnett, one of my favorite movies, Lucky Number 11. That's a good movie.
Wicker Park.
I mean, Wicker Park. Come on, bro. What's up?
That's why I mentioned it.
What's up? What's up?
Wicker Park. All right, boys. I think we're good right now. An hour 40. I think it might be time to head out, and hopefully we can do this on Thursday. Everybody available the
draft? Yeah.
What do you mean? What's Thursday?
I'm
I
kidding.
unfortunately will not be available. I'll be at work.
Boo! Call off.
I thought you were having a draft party somewhere, Jose.
Listen, man, if I could afford to call off, I would have called off on Saturday and attended a Cubs game. But like I said, I've unfortunately, like, I made it all the way through COVID without catching anything. And then like this year I've had the flu, COVID, bronchitis. So I've been getting my butt kicked by everything this year, sickness and illness wise. So unfortunately my sick time is not very good right now for work.
I used up mine in 2 weeks while I was recovering from the hip replacement. But you know what's crazy? My parents are in their mid and late 80s, and all this time they avoided COVID. Got it like 2 weeks ago. Got it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they were fine because they're so.
I haven't heard about anyone having it recently.
Oh yeah, well
yeah. Now you gotta be worried about bird flu.
To be fair, yeah, I did hear that. But to be fair, they do live in Florida, so I mean that shit is in the water. You know what I mean? They avoided it. I mean, like I kid you not, they were still wearing like masks and gloves to Walmart because that's the only place they go. But yeah, man, they caught it and they gave them like this big cocktail of drugs of like horse pills that my dad had to take. But they've had like 83 booster shots, and they, you know what I mean? So they were like, I didn't really feel anything. They were just that we had a positive test. So I mean, I guess it's not a big deal anymore. I don't know, man.
Guess it's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
All right. A big thank to E-Rock for joining the show. Stevie B and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football will be back with a Bears draft party show. Look out for that. A big thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go over to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your shirts now. Stevie B, plug your show.
Yeah, Sean's been going through some stuff, so we filmed an episode yesterday, so we'll see when he posts that. So check out No on the Weekend. Maybe you'll hear it on the weekend.
Okay, so I gotta call Sean.
I don't know. So.
I gotta call Sean. Y'all gotta be on a consistent schedule.
I'm telling you.
He needs a kick in the ass. Then I'll definitely.
He does. All right. Yeah, check us out. I guess. Yeah, we're inconsistent but consistent on recording. So, oh man.
Oh boy, Steve, don't make me go over there and kick your ass. All right.
I want off of work, so please do it.
I know it's a couple days late, but happy 420 to those who participate. And if you do, you just realize it's only 2 days later anyway. So happy 420.
National Surprise Drug Test Day.
Yeah, 421.
Hey, it's also Hitler's birthday, which is the fucked up part of that. Yeah, that was a good way to end it, right?
Yep.
I don't know who wants to know that, but
All
okay.
right. Everybody go check out the new show on the 606 media platform. It's called Impossicated with Big Z, where we interview people from all types of walks of life, and we get very impossicated with each other. So check that out on YouTube. Shout out to Ronesh Panic Series Beats and custom made for the beats we played on today's audio version of the show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for your own merchant gear. Check us out on social media at TCSF Pod on Twitter and on TikTok. You'll find us on Facebook, IG, Spotify. Reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you for stirring the pot or show recommendations. Hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, for the boys, JC Dynasty's Fantasy Football, Stevie B, E-Rock, I am Big Z, and we'll see you next time for episode 192. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.
Swish.